motion to accept the warrants?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor? Would someone read the announcements, please?
The Select Board will meet on Monday, May 6th at 7 p.m. The public hearing will be held on Monday, May 6th at 6 p.m. for the June ballot questions. The vote is June 11th. All ballot questions will be posted on the town website. The Planning Board will meet on Wednesday, May 1st at 7 p.m. The Cemetery Committee will meet on Thursday, May 9th at 7 p.m. in the community room at the Municipal Building. Anyone willing to help with the veterans' graves are encouraged to attend. The transfer station will take brush for Limerick residents until the end of June. The Appeals Board has 2 vacant seats to fill. Please reach out to the Select Board admin if interested at 793-4475. As a reminder, if you're speaking at any meeting, please go to the microphone so everyone will be able to hear. As part of the hearing a citizen policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting. And please stay current with town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go on to department reports. We'll start with Neil to discuss the bandstand.
Good evening. Thank you. Neil Meltzer. As you may recall, last fall, when we got ready for winter, we had some decisions to make about the bandstand and the railing on the left-hand side of the level platform as you go in. Because the elevation change between the level platform and then the walkway beneath it was of a certain distance, we were required to put a railing up. However, a permanent railing would have severely impeded the ability to move snow coming up Locust Hill, and certainly for the driveway on the Academy building and Wendy Jones' house. So after meeting with multiple contractors and the road commissioner, we concluded that there were 2 potential solutions. One was to totally regrade Locust Hill, and then that would address the elevation change and also would address a ongoing erosion problem that's been in that area. Or we could install a railing that would be easily removable during the seasonal nature. So, and at the time, it was concluded that the best thing to do was to put in a temporary railing made out of pine, and that was painted, so the bandstand could be used, and then that would be removed in November. That was done, and over the course of the winter, I and quite a few other people, including the road commissioner, really monitored whether or not we were getting any erosion in that area, and based on some of the paving we had done, we seem to have addressed the erosion problem, which is good. While the railing was taken down, basically that made it really not safe for the public, which is why the bandstand was closed. Now that I think we're all done with snowstorms, I'd like to think so. It is, after all, almost May. No May surprises, I hope. So it's really time to take the next step, and so the bandstand can be used. I've reached out to the road commissioner, had some communications with him, and he agrees that the erosion problem has been addressed, and it would not be prudent or necessary to totally regrade the Locust Hill area. That would have been a very expensive thing to do, which brings us to being able to use the bandstand again. Last fall, in anticipation that we might wind up in this situation, I reached out to Limerick Light Iron, and we designed an easily removable metal railing. They agreed to donate the railing. They've been incredibly generous, as have been so many other townspeople. And for that railing to be installed, there'd need to be a concrete pier installed beneath the, where the pad is now. And then there'd be some bolts that would go down into it, so there'd be nothing sticking up. So we would still be able to take it off, could very easily plow, just like we did this winter. So I wanted to bring that to the Select Board's attention. I think there's, if that's something that the Select Board thinks we should do, then I'd be willing to try to find a contractor to do that work. I don't think it's going to be a lot of work. We had budgeted $1,000 for that, and that was as residual, and I'm hoping that would cover it. The pad, the level pad, would remain stone dust, and until the road commissioner did repave Locust Hill, and he has agreed 100% that when he repaves Locust Hill, he would also pave the pad area. So now we'd have a true permanent solution. The Select Board does not want to go in that direction, then the other thing to do would be to install the temporary pine railing and just do that on a continual basis until it rots out, which probably will be just a few years. So I wanted to bring that information to the board and see if I could get some sense of what you thought was best.
Okay, any thoughts?
I think it would be, if it's possible to get some pricing for the concrete pillar from a, before we, in my opinion, before we agree to anything. But that's just my thought.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy installation. Basically, you have to, it's not an entire concrete pad that has to be put in, but it makes sense. But again, I'm not authorized to do that. You have, if you want me to do that, I will, but you need to authorize me to take that step. And if it is going to take some time, which it may be prudent. I know that I think the maintenance crew from the municipal building did very carefully remove the wooden railing. It might be prudent to put that back in so the bandstand can be used while we're trying to do this. But again, if you want me to try to get an estimate, I can. When I get that, I can also get a sense of the time frame and report back to you next week if that's what you feel is the best thing to do.
Yeah, you mentioned the $1,000. That was budgeted. Is that still? We haven't spent it on something else. Then I take it.
I haven't. I don't know what. I don't know what. When I gave my final report, I was very clear and said there'd be about $1,000 that has been set aside to cover whatever that solution was going to be. So I don't know what happened to that money. I don't know where it is. I can't answer that, Gil.
Yeah, I think we'll just have to double check, see if it's see what's available.
So would you like me to reach out to a contractor and see what it would take to do that and what the time frame would be?
That would be good. I do like the idea of putting up the pine rail in the meantime so it can be used.
Well, that could happen, again, I'm sure that this time of year, everyone is busy. I'm sure the maintenance crew is incredibly busy, but I don't think it's a very big job. They were very careful when they took it down. I don't think it would take very, very long to do that, and that could certainly happen at the Select Board's direction. Okay,
Sounds good.
I'll see if I can get some information and hopefully report back to you next week.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Neil. Okay, next up we have Judy LePage, tax collector.
That's been for a month, that's me from Trio.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Neil.
I will speak directly into the mic so they can hear me at home. This mic. Golden? Okay. know they've been talking about this Trio web off and on for quite a while.
Yeah.
There's a lot I didn't realize that they were discussing because I never received the emails or knew that what was going on with it. So, after receiving this, I have spoke with Ben, just briefly, and told him I would bring it to the board's attention once again. Supposedly, there was an estimate for the program if we upgraded to the Trio web. I don't know. I asked Dottie, she said that they did get one somewhere. I just don't know where it is. And I don't know if it's changed since then. So I don't know if I could get a copy of that, what the last contract was supposed to consist of as far as money. I know they wanted to get things over to them as soon as we can. At first, I was against it because I didn't understand what it was all about. They're talking about this cloud and this and that.
Yeah.
I did speak with that technician, which is Chris Sanborn, and yes, he does work for Trio. So I can see why some people would question things, but I do trust him wholeheartedly. I told him I thought that if we went on the cloud type thing, whatever it was, suppose you can work from home here and there on a laptop or whatever. He's against that, so am I, only because it should be kept in the office, because this Trio stuff that we have on there, a lot of it, it's governmental, it's not a corporation, we're governmental. Okay, so we have like birth dates on there, we have social security numbers, a lot of stuff that's confidential. So I feel, again, I know we had the COVID thing, and like I said, you can answer phones from home, forward the phone down to your house or whatever. So if someone calls, you can at least talk to them. But as far as conducting business, I feel that type of stuff should be kept. If you have to use Trio, it should be in the office, it shouldn't be taken home. We went through this a long time ago, before we had Trio. I mean, we had Gemini then. And someone was bringing work home, and then later on, by the auditor, the town auditor at that time advised that we don't do that, and so did Maine Municipal. Again, it's because you got a lot of security stuff that could get in the wrong hands, accidentally, I'm not saying deliberately. So anyways, yeah, so he said, I talked to Chris, and he said what it is. I told him I was worried about the confidentiality of this cloud web and all this stuff, because I'm not computer wet, and I'll admit it. But the server that we have, what it is with the web program, on the cloud and everything, they're the ones that secure it, Trio, right from their place of business. So, yeah, I'd like to see it. Like I said, he said that if we can't stay with the SQL. That's what Ben was talking to us about.
Okay.
And the reason is because the SQL version, and they're only doing critical bug fixes and government mandated changes. But now, even with our ability to do this, it's at risk. The SQL version of Trio is currently in a language called Visual Basic 6, and Microsoft has stopped supporting the development environment of that program language. This means it will continue to become increasingly difficult and expensive to maintain the SQL version, and it's possible that in the next few years we'll be unable to make any changes to that version of the software. Again, our office, we depend on this Trio for motor vehicles. Motor vehicles, if it's not working the way they want it, they contact Trio. You need to do something because it shouldn't be doing this, and it's letting them do it. So again, he also said that it is governmental, and if we don't go with the SQL, what's going to happen is, because of what Ben says here, how it's going to be, can't keep up with it, the Windows, Microsoft stuff, Chris said what would happen would be like every 6 to 10 years, we would have to get a brand new server so they could keep programming different things into it, which he said could cost up to $10,000 every time to replace that server. You can't just come in and Microsoft upgrade it, which they also confirm the same thing. So, if, with the board's permission, I'd like to find out what that money is. And, because he's supposed to voted on it, I don't know, I've been hearing all kinds of stories, so I really don't know.
But we voted to do this,
Yeah, and I think we budgeted for it.
Like last winter around November or
and we
something.
voted for it. And they called and said, is everybody ready? We're gonna make the transition. And there was, we'll put the brakes on. They were prepared to do this
Right, and which he
almost
said,
a year ago.
and he did show me how to go in, so we can do, like a training thing on it. We can play with it, see how we're gonna like it. I mean, there's a few things I'd like to know about. And I told him, like the central party things, I hated that from day one. When we changed from Trio to the SQL, it's been a nightmare. Because what happens is their names get put in from the real estate. That's when it first gets in there, addresses, names, or whatever. Motor vehicles made it perfectly clear to Trio that they did not want the motor vehicle stuff, as far as addresses and all that stuff, pulled into their motor vehicle registration. We could pull the name in, which that's what it allows us to do. Which is a good thing, like I said, because sometimes it's a junior or a senior on a tax bill, and sometimes they don't put that in there. So when we pull it, we click on the name, and then we find out later it's a senior or junior, so we go in, we have to update it, correct the registration, then it gets to motor vehicles, and somehow it's still playing into that with our real estate, which it's not supposed to. Because they'll correct it on their end and tell me it's not a junior or a senior. It's which it is, because the customers, they have to verify it.
This is this.
So we tell them that, and they said a lot of it's that, they don't like that part of it either. It's not working like they thought it was gonna, so that's one of my questions to them.
So
Supposedly,
the increase.
according to Laura, our treasurer in the past, when she told me about this, November, December, they had been talking about it in the quotes and all this, that's supposedly gonna kind of fade away. So to do a dog license, like I said, you have to go central parties, and you have to pull the person's name. It takes you an extra 15 minutes to do a dog license, if it's a new dog. So like I said, it has its things I didn't like about it. But again, we was worried about security, to make sure that stuff didn't get out there on the cloud. And I still have questions I want to ask, but if it's okay, I'll let it, 'cause they want to know if we had it budgeted and all this stuff, and I told them I weren't sure.
Well, so we do. We went through, there's quite a significant increase in the budget, plus the Trio Web, the upgrade that we talked about included payroll.
Yes.
So we also have that budgeted for. And I'm pretty sure we responded to begin that contract 1/1/24. Now, I think a part of the question was when, right, and then when were some of our departments ready to transition over to that, I think was part of the question. The only other thing that I wanted to say, from what I understand as far as the web is concerned, it does allow the capacity for work from home, but still I don't think that that's something.
I think if you check with Maine Municipal, they're gonna tell you big no
Of
on
course,
that.
and it would be at a board level too, likely, that we would have to discuss that option if it even was one. But it also allows the techs the opportunity to, without having to jump through hoops, be able to help on the fly with an issue. As far as I understand it, what Chris was saying the last time I met with him.
And like I said, for some reason, all I knew or heard of is when Laura would talk about it to us. Or if I heard it on the air, you all talking about it, and some
I know.
people felt that it was good, some thought it weren't good, some was pushing for it, now they aren't pushing for it. Well, again, it's critical
Right.
to run these offices.
Yeah.
You know, to work from home, like I said during that COVID thing, it was impossible for us to work from home, because I'm not gonna bring home license plates,
No.
stickers, and money. I don't wanna handle money at my house. I think all of that stuff should be here.
Yeah.
along with payroll or anything else. You can't bring blank checks home and fill out a check. I don't think that'd be a good idea either, but.
No, but it doesn't, that shouldn't preclude people from doing, I'm not saying somebody should be doing payroll from home, but if the treasurer wants to do some work from home, I don't think, or Alicia, or, I mean,
But Alicia's not really into the trio,
I
are
don't
you?
think we should be stopping that.
Like I said, that, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the treasurer, the taxer, the town clerk should not be working.
We just approved the treasurer to work from home, I mean, to get her computer ready to work from home, correct? We just spent money to give her a computer.
I would check with Maine Municipal, see if they want you doing that. That's governmental.
Well, So,
That's my 2 cents on that.
we've already agreed to do this, we've already voted on it, we've already put the money aside,
And I think we've already signed a contract
we've already signed a contract for it,
and are paying for
and
it.
we're paying for it. However,
Checks.
I would not agree to have them push the button to go on board with this until everybody in this building that works on that, I don't care if we shut the office down for a Friday, a Monday, whatever day, everybody who works in this building needs to get in a room together with somebody from Trio and get all their questions answered.
Would you like me to ask them to come in?
I would like, if you want to facilitate that, if that's okay with, the problem that happened before is, like you said, everybody wasn't on board,
No,
and you weren't on board.
No.
And today you say this is critical, right? So when we wanted to do it before, it didn't get done because, with all due respect, you were one of the ones that didn't want it at the time.
because
But
again,
that's fine.
the way it was explained to me, that's why I figured, you know what, I'm gonna get this settled once and for all and find out.
We need everybody to have all the
True.
same information.
Right.
So if we want to take, I'm all for having them have some period of time when we close the building, get somebody from Trio in here, and everybody that's going to work on this, anybody that's on a computer in this building, should sit in a room, get their questions answered, how the transition's going to go, how it's going to affect their everyday, and put everybody together, and then push the button and go, because I think everybody now agrees that this is something that has to be done.
Right.
Yep.
Like I said, unless you want to keep paying, like Chris said, anywhere up to $10,000 every 6 to 10 years to change that, to get a new server.
No.
And again, I know he's employed by Trio, so like I said, but I've talked to different ones, and we did this, almost the same thing, we went from Trio to the SQL. So, and every time you change things, yeah, you're learning it again.
Yeah.
So that's why they have it all set up, so we can go right online with them and do things. It's not, it will show me how to do a registration, but it does not actually doing the registration is what I'm trying to say. We did that when we went to the SQL, same thing.
I do know that there was one piece of this, and I don't know which one it was, that affected the assessing office. And when we wanted to transfer this over, they were like, well, no, we need another week or 2 weeks, or they needed some more time for something.
I know what it was from, but it's probably because of the camera card from O'Donnell's.
Could be, so,
If they can't interface with it, then O'Donnell's can't do stuff on their camera cards, their interfaces now.
then we need to make sure that they're involved in
If
the
that doesn't
meeting.
change, I
They
don't
gotta
see,
figure out a way to make it work.
okay.
Who has the action step to contact Trio to get somebody to meet with us?
Judy said she was.
What it is in the beginning, what it was is the tax collector's office started with this program back in 2006. At that time, it was just motor vehicles, because they weren't ready to do the real estate, they didn't want to go there. Because when they changed from Gemini to network system, they lost quite a bit of information. But there was a gentleman that did come in for that transition and told the assessing office not to make any changes after a certain month and day. Because if you do, it's not going to get in there. So it went really smooth. So like I said, they do work with us well. But what happened, because our office was the only one on it for motor vehicles, they put me in as their admin to set people up. So when you hire people, like not hire, like whatever, the treasurer and all that, assessing's no different. I have to go in and allow them to go into certain things. They're not allowed to go in motor vehicles at all. I blocked them out of that. It's slates it so they can't go in. I think that's why they contacted me, but over time, secretaries changed and stuff, and things started just happening. But again, to this day, I'm still the one that goes in and puts people in to different programs. So I think that's why probably why he contacted me. But, yeah, so like I said, if, I'll contact him back, and, because they wanted to know if, the town, again, if they had the money, if they're, Selectmen okayed everything. If it was, then we can start doing this demo. All the employees can, the treasurer will be, they're gonna come, let us know how to set it up and how to go about it, but, so that was that anyways. And then, we got this one, the Maine State Legislature again, on processing for selling tax-acquired properties, starting in July of 2024. They made some more law changes since the one a month ago. So like I said, I gave a copy to Alicia, just to kind of go over it, to see, again, I know, like I said, I lean, and once I lean, supposedly I'm done, but not really, because sometimes the lean isn't good, so then it goes back on me again. But just to kind of give you the scoop, like I said, that kind of making recommendations for the town, how to go about getting your ordinances, or how whatever you guys do it now, or if they've done it, that no longer can happen. It's all state now. And as far as, and I kept thinking to myself, okay, what is the state's got something coming out of this, because why are they meddling all of a sudden and everything? But supposedly, if there's any money that goes back to the property owner that got tax acquired, if they aren't around to get the check, you can't get the check to them because the mailing address isn't right or whatever, then it has to go to the state of Maine for unclaimed property.
There it is.
That explains it. But that's it. Okay?
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you. Okay, then we have Steve McLean to speak about the appeals board.
No speakers.
Steve McLean Appeals Board. I did a little research into what we were talking about last week about sending CIA an extra bill for extra work there, and seems the gist of a bunch of the towns and stuff is CIA won his appeal. So we're gonna send him a bill because he won his appeal. So one or two things should happen, I guess, eventually in our ordinance or something. If you win the appeal, you shouldn't be charged for the appeal, all right? Because evidently, like one example was, they said he had to have trees. Okay, we all agreed with that, but they didn't tell him how many trees, so now the planning board has put in a number of trees. So we're gonna charge him for an appeal of something that, that shouldn't have happened. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. I just, started doing a little bit of research, talking to different towns, and, normally if you went to court and you won the case, all right, the opposing person paid your fees, vice versa. Because I'd hate to send him a bill and have him come after us. So I figured that you guys, will think about it for a week or so, we'll figure out what we're doing and how we're going about it. Because if somebody wins an appeal, evidently they were in the right. So how do we bill them? And how do we bill them for, like, the planning board's attorney advising the planning board? Yeah, it's just kind of, because they could always turn around and say, all right, I want some money for my attorney that represented me. So I don't know, kind of opens another can of worms. But something to think about, we can talk about another time.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you, Steve. Okay, moving on to old business. We have the cemetery mowing, the Veterans Cemetery Committee. There's a meeting May 9th at 7 p.m., so we'll have some more information after that. And fire building update, I have something here. The flooring, it says flooring continues. Carpet expected to arrive tomorrow. Electrical work should be completed by the end of the week. Plumbing should be completed by the end of the week. Work continues on the diesel exhaust system. Kitchen countertops and service window counter have been installed. Exterior lights on building have been installed. So that's what we have on the fire building update. And review of legal accounts, I did not see any in the warrants this week. FOAA requests, as usual, they're on the website. And deed work for Tibbetts Park, Wade is working on that, so we'll get an update from him next week. Town charter update, they met on April 25th, and we should have an update from that meeting coming soon. Bricktown Hall repairs, we got a final report from the adjuster, and basically it's got some figures on it that are, basically it's not an approval to go ahead with the work or do anything, it's just an estimate from them. So it's not an offer of a settlement, and the appraisal is subject to review and approval by the insurance company. So we have some numbers here. This is for the, the damage in the Bricktown Hall. And if I'm reading this correctly, we've got...
That page probably has it better broken down for you.
Okay. Okay, they've got a figure of net claim of $6,460 with an actual cash value $7,460 with a $1,000 less deductible. And they've also factored in some depreciation on this, so it looks like the net return might, their recommended figure is $8,189.14. So we'll have to see if we've got a contractor that could meet these numbers, or if they can't meet the numbers, then we'll have to get an amended figure from the appraisal.
I do need to follow up with Stan, because I had checked, they were on the same page as having to be ADA compliant with the bathroom, but that doesn't mean.
It doesn't sound like it's enough if...
This doesn't,
Near the quote that we got.
this doesn't include any upgrades, any code upgrades.
No, it says in there just, I think, that bar and,
This would have been just exactly what was there. It was taken out and needs to be put back. It wouldn't include anything additional.
This is for the Bricktown Hall or this building?
Bricktown Hall.
So they're prepared to write us a check for $6,400. If we were to do the work, then they would give us the depreciation back of $1,728. And then you would take the $1,000 deductible off of that. So the most we would get back is $8,189, as you said. But you don't get the depreciation back until the work is done. So, what was the quote we had?
26.
And was that to make it completely handicap accessible? And have we submitted that to the adjuster?
No, they didn't like it.
Okay, well, what do we do on this contact?
Well, we didn't like it, but are they denying coverage for code upgrades? So they denied coverage, they're saying we're not entitled to it.
So that's what you talk to Stan.
Yeah, because we're required to become
The last time
ADA compliant.
his engineer and Stan had talked, and I thought that they had agreed that we were allowed to do the upgrade.
I don't-
Compliant.
So there was already a grab bar in there? I'm just asking if they're not upgrading, because they do have it on here as part of their
Yeah, I
quote,
think that-
plus a handicap accessible water closet?
Toilet. It probably had a grab bar, and it probably had a handicap height toilet.
Okay,
That was probably already there.
so it's not, this is
So
just
those are-
part of the...
yeah, those wouldn't be-
Okay,
Anything additional?
okay.
Wheelchair wouldn't fit through the door.
No, the door needs to be... Understand.
And there was a provision to get back to the adjuster if there's some discrepancies, so.
They're arguing because it's not handicap accessible floor. And our first floor bathroom is handicap accessible.
Have they given us that in writing?
Well, I know that Stan said it was all set, that's why I was kind of blown away by that, and I just brought that up. So I just need to find out from him if he has anything else.
Well, if they deny it in writing, then we can, I'd have to look at the policy, but
We either accept it or appeal it.
you have to go to appraisal, and we could invoke,
I have a lot of it in email format, so.
so we need to get a letter from, find out from them in writing if they are denying the ordinance and law upgrades. And I would remind them that the local code officer has made it a requirement. And most policies say if the code officer requires it, then that is kind of law, so. And if they deny it, then we'll tell them we're going to appraisal. And we can go through that process, it's not that hard.
Okay, thank you. Town road property letters, Stan's been working on these, and I know there's been some progress made, so we'll keep working until we're ready to take action.
Yeah, and I know that we're working to get, I think 4 of us together, so that we can look over that, because I have a couple of forms to complete with the help of a couple people.
I do believe somebody paid full payment too.
With those, yeah.
Somebody's paid in full? Okay, I knew there was
One out of the 4, I believe,
there was, yeah,
well, there's many more on the Stan's list now.
there was a couple larger ones that he had said they were gonna pay, so.
One has been paid in full.
Okay, good. I have no
That's fine.
update. Anything new on that?
Well, I have Cunningham coming out tomorrow to look at all the cameras and stuff, and at the same time, we're gonna take a look at all the sensors in the, because apparently even after they put the new sensor in, that had gone off again once, or has it gone off since?
Nobody has said it's gone off.
So they did say that when they, well, they did say that when the guy put it in, the building was closed, so and I didn't have my key, so we couldn't get into the panel. And he did say that it would need to be reset. So it was, when we left here last Monday, it did say that it had gone off, but it was dated back.
They
Like
called
if-
the office, I'm thinking it was like, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, I don't know if it was Monday. It was Monday last week. They did call the office and Dee said that she's done. As far as running in and out, she told them that, yeah, she could hear that it was going off. I think Dory shut off the thing and
Yeah, so we'll look at it, we're gonna put another set of eyes on it tomorrow and see if we can't
Okay.
see something different.
Okay, new business park sign. Just looking for someone to,
No, the frame and everything went up today,
oh,
so the posts and the frame are up. RSD is getting, it's gonna be in 3 sections. They will get those to us shortly. I spoke with, so the way it's set up is each lot has basically 12 inches by 5 feet wide to put whatever they want on it for their name. So, for instance, we started up the left side, went around. So Wedge Rock would have 2 spots because they have 2 lots. And then the self-storage, then Steve, then Derek Welch. And coming back the other side, we'd end up with the Sugar Shack, and then the corner post landscaping, and then Steve's got 2 spots, and then JP Carroll has a spot, and then it goes to Sunny's. So I spoke, Wedge Rock will have theirs, RSD is just gonna make their panel for them, so it'll be, when the sun goes up, it'll be done. Mine will go up, JP Carroll's will go up. Sunny, at this point, said he didn't want one for now, and I don't know if Steve, do you want anything in your spots? Okay, so I'll just need to speak to the other few people. And if they, and at any time, once it's up, whoever has that spot will have the right to go where they want and have their panel made and installed in their 12-inch by 60-inch spot. So,
okay, good. That can come off the agenda soon. Next is the shelter survey. Do you have any update, Katie?
I don't have any update. I have the form with just some boxes that I need to follow up looking at throughout the building.
Okay, repurposing the boat launch at Arrowhead, there's no update at this point. The MMA inspection report for the emergency action plan, note here says it's almost complete. And the auction of Lake Arrowhead lots is on hold. Overlook and municipal office cameras and heat detectors. I think you just spoke to that, John, already. So, addition to personnel policy for EPL time, and Alicia and Julie are working on this to get the wording down. The squad truck bid review update, that's on hold for the time being. Building Advisory Committee, the poison ivy control at the Grange Hall. We have some information that a citizen sent about getting rid of poison ivy. And there's some things on here, including smothering it and using vinegar, which would be a very extra strength vinegar, not your table vinegar. It's like a 70% vinegar we use on it around the house too. So there are some suggestions on how to get rid of poison ivy without having to call in a professional, I guess.
So, can you forward that to Dean, or if you have it, can you?
Yes, good. Okay, Bricktown Hall third floor water. We need to consider approving a contract, approving to contact multiple plumbers to get bids for that.
So, the two that we have on the emergency list, one didn't want to quote on it, and one said they would let me know, so I just want to know if I had approval to contact others outside of that.
Yes, please. Decision on town cell phones. For as little as mine is used, I could turn mine in.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense that, like, it's either all everybody does, or everybody keeps them, you know what I mean, like, it's completely up to you guys.
Yeah, I do get an occasional call, but nothing compared to some of the others. I know Wade and Katie both said that they get calls regularly.
I have not had one call since I got the phone.
A couple days ago?
So, okay, well, if someone's keeping them, I guess then we all keep them, and the numbers are posted, for people to contact us.
What if we made them available to selectmen by their choice? Does that?
And then I was wondering too, could we do it by, like, position? The vice chair and the chair, or, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't here for the beginning of this discussion, so I don't know what brought this up, but.
I mean, the lack of use of them, I think, is
Yeah.
what brings it up. And I do use mine. I think for me, it works, for citizens to get in contact with me. But I don't think that it's 100% necessary. What were they doing before? We had emails, but not phone numbers on the website.
Yeah.
John, I know they contact you on your cell. It wasn't,
I mean, I guess if, I don't have a problem having it done by choice. If somebody doesn't want their personal cell phone used and wants not to have that number posted, I certainly understand that, and if they choose to have a town cell phone, we can provide them with one. If somebody is comfortable enough using their own and not uncomfortable with their number being posted, then let them make that choice. I'm happy to give mine up and have my own regular number posted, and I would give mine to the treasurer instead of going out and now paying for yet another one. I don't think we need to pay for another one for her. She probably should have one because of that process that she has to go through on a regular basis to get into certain things, to authenticate.
Yes, and then in a transition, then it doesn't go to someone's personal phone that they're not in the office anymore.
So I make a motion that we make town cell phones available to the select board as requested by each individual.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, good.
She gonna mind tomorrow. I'll get it. She already got one? Was it in? Did you come through Verizon? Well, then we'll just, cancel. I'm curious, how did she order it? Like, who'd she order it through?
I don't know, I said to her, I said, hey, I think we're, John is giving up his cell phone, so she's like, oh, I already was able to order one.
I mean, they're so difficult
I know.
to talk to,
And I don't know
because
if she was able to
I don't know
get
who-
his name by proving something, maybe she sent them something that had her as treasurer now.
Yeah.
I didn't get that far.
All right, well, I will,
Basically swapping.
if you can find out from her whose name got put on, who, and got the authorization to talk to them, they can cancel mine.
Okay.
Okay, next topic, discussion of flowers for Memorial Day. Tibbetts Park Committee is taking care of this instead of the American Legion
Yeah,
at this
they
point.
are fine. I'm communicating back and forth with Vicki a little bit, through email over the weekend, and then let Mike know too, so,
Yes, I saw the email.
yeah, and Vicki did respond. I just don't think it was everybody, but they were fine with taking, and they have a couple other people who are joining the committee to help and offered to water them, so, perfect. I told her just kind of this communication. We thought that they wanted, needed help, and, but no thing is they're good, so that's all good, taken care of.
Okay, good, well, we can take that off the agenda. Is this pertinent to this, Steve?
Yeah, it's pertinent to one before you didn't look up. Before you get into new business. On the Lake Arrowhead repurposing of the boat launch, is there anything in the works that put like a concrete block or 2 blocks there so they can't back their vehicle with a trailer and a boat down in there?
I think there's something there already.
Okay, I'm just saying we ought to make sure there is, because if not, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because there's not, right now, there's not even room to park a car.
Yeah.
So
Right.
he just,
Can they back,
no, you can't,
There's just a
you,
path right now.
it's currently blocked.
Okay.
You can't back
I mean,
in
there,
there.
because if not, if it gets open, then they
Yeah.
go back in there, you know that.
Yeah,
All right.
Just for the committee.
Okay, well then, moving on to new business, let's discuss work around the community garden. I guess at this point, it's determined that our custodian should not use a chainsaw because of
Yeah,
insurance.
so he's not supposed to be using the chainsaw.
Yeah, that's for insurance
Pretty
purposes.
much farm up there, he's cut up with a chainsaw, so I don't know.
and who said he couldn't use a chainsaw?
Well, I would assume, maybe he doesn't want it, I mean, I don't know. He said he's not.
Did he say it, or did somebody tell him?
I think somebody might have told him.
I heard somebody told him, as this came up last week,
I can't do it without using a chainsaw, which I told them not allowed.
I apologize to do this in the middle of it. I have to go. I apologize.
Can we find out who told him?
Yeah.
and find out.
And find out
Yeah.
who told them, and
Just an insurance thing?
I don't,
It crossed my mind, so he was told that.
I just never, I've never heard of being limited to not being able, I mean, it's, I don't know, maybe it has to do how he's classified under, with workman's comp, but I would find out who told him. What's that? Oh, he's a grown man. Yeah, it's not a child, yeah.
I wonder if it might be like a licensing thing, like arborist.
I know it's like an arborist thing.
Excuse me, if it's on the ground, he can cut it. He can't,
Let's find out who
if
told
it's
him that.
still attached to the tree, according to the guy from the state, he can't.
Well, I just,
And he can't leave the ground to cut anything.
pretty much what's on.
Then, yeah, it is
needs to be-
attached to the tree.
All right, so if it's still attached to the tree,
Okay,
it's gotta be a licensed arborist.
yeah.
I'll go out after the meeting.
That's according to the,
I think he's happy to do it.
yeah.
I just, like I said,
Well, let's find out, A, who told him he couldn't do it, and then who told him where that came from, and then B, if it's attached to the tree, it must be a licensed arborist.
Okay,
Volunteer for free firewood.
What's that?
They need somebody to volunteer for free.
But not if it's attached to the tree, they can't.
I mean, the one on the.
The ones on the ground, yeah.
I think he's happy to take care of it if he, can.
Yeah.
Like that, but-
Yeah, I would find, I don't know why he'd be limited not being using, what's interesting, because that's the second time I heard that today, because over on Boy Scout Island, there's a lot of branches down, and I was told that he couldn't use a chainsaw, and I didn't question it then, but I don't know why I didn't, but we'll question it now and find out.
Yeah, 'cause I think he said he would clean that up too, but.
okay, next topic, changing emails to Microsoft Exchange. I think we already had some discussion about that.
There's a little bit more information.
There's an email, you have an email on the cost.
Modem Waves asked for a number of how many emails would be needed to set up so he could estimate the cost. Katie asked for a quote from him, and I supplied the numbers that I could to her. And she was to check and see on the list what select board ones could be done away with, perhaps. There's one for GA for example, and she wasn't sure if that could be done away with.
Yeah.
She, so she has that list, but it's going to come in between 50 and 60, and it's $72 per year per account for that. And plus there'll be, he said it would take about 8 hours of his time to set it up. And I got an email from Vinny today, which I forwarded, I think, to everybody. But he said his email isn't set up yet, and he is also questioning the bill from Modem Waves. on how it's to be paid, and I told him to talk to the select board. Because it's not a franchise fee thing. It's an operational thing. So that's 72 times 55 or something, plus 8 hours of his time.
Okay.
And so every time you add or subtract one, you would have to take that into consideration in your budget. So you'd have to have a process to approve it, I guess. Because right now, I just do it because it doesn't cost anything.
So our email right now is free.
Yes. It comes with a subscription for the website. Okay, but we're separating. We're gonna have a main email account, which is different. It's Microsoft Exchange, and we're going to still have the website.
Who's the website through?
A+. That's who Laura May set it up with. It's been with them for years.
I know I just have a little bit of experience with GoDaddy. Are they similar cost? Are they?
I have no idea.
I'd be interested. I mean,
I've seen corporations use Gmail. But they went away from it after a while because they found problems. Like major corporations.
yeah.
And Motor Waves is an advocate of Exchange.
Of the Microsoft?
He thinks it's bulletproof, pretty much bulletproof. But it's $72 a year, plus somebody's got to administer it. And you're gonna have a learning curve of learning to do it. And that's not Webmaster, that's, it can be, but it's a new thing that has to be learned and then administered, just like the one in A+.
My sense is if we went to Microsoft Exchange, could we keep all the same email address? Could we keep,
Yes.
you keep them the same?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think you have to, let me check. Chris Sanborn said that he will need records from A+, which he can supply, it's not a problem. But then I'm not sure how you keep them in sync. Okay, do you still have to administer A+ and make sure that it's there because it's tied to the website, limerickme.org. But everything's being done over here. I'm not sure of the technical portions. I think you'll have to administer it to keep it in sync. So that's why I said there has to be a process to set it up. Because right now, I'm one-man band, okay? And now you're making it more convoluted. That's okay, that's no problem.
How do you find your email? Challenging? Challenging?
Yeah.
I can barely, it takes 5 minutes to load.
I just happen to have some different email addresses. I sit here on my phone, I can pull up, I'm not a fan of Gmail, but I can pull up every one of them. I have GoDaddy, and I can pull every one of them up. I have AOL, there it is, and webmail at aplus.net has been circling for 6 minutes.
A+ is very rudimentary, okay? Because it was very inexpensive. And I've heard from this board before, I don't care what you do, Laura May, as long as it doesn't cost anything.
Not from this board. Many boards in the
Oh,
past.
I've heard it.
Not from this board.
Yes, I have. Okay, so I'm just saying that is very rudimentary. Even the website is rudimentary, but we made it work as best we can with the tool that we were given, okay?
How much does the website cost?
$4.99 a month. Okay.
So,
We get what we pay.
you get what you pay for. I mean, you're paying $6 for a website and 70 email addresses. So,
1,000 email addresses, unlimited.
unlimited. Well,
I've been getting a lot of spam.
So much spam.
Telling me that, those things all out of
Yeah,
whack.
I mean, I get those in every one of
She
them.
does too, and she believes.
That's if you can open it.
Yeah.
If you get your
I
inbox.
just,
It
it's,
doesn't matter what tool you have to manage some of it yourself.
Yeah.
And you can filter spam out. Okay, Gmail does it for you, a lot of it. Okay, so you might get Exchange, and you might have to learn how to manage your profile.
I delete it.
Well, that's not managing it, that's consuming time. You can do things, but the user is responsible for certain things too. And A+ allows you to manage your spam. You could manage it, and it would decrease. So it's part of it is education and learning the tools that you're given. Okay, that's not to
I
say,
ain't trouble before, but this past couple of years, my off and on, I have to send things to Dee Dee to send out for me.
yeah.
And then sometimes things will come in for both of us, she gets it, I'll get it
but
like
you're
4
not
hours later.
on A+, you've been using Outlook.
Right. That's what we're all using is out.
I don't,
You have to sync them to have them
Yes.
work properly.
Yeah.
If you're not syncing them, matching things up, they're on something else, I don't even know what it is. I only use A+.
well, that's all I use, and I don't have very good luck with it. So, all I'm saying is, I think that we would, I don't expect you to do it for free, but if it's additional,
I don't even know if I can do it, but
would
anyway.
would you be willing to do some research through GoDaddy and see if it's an option? It may be something in between.
I can get a price.
It might be something in between.
I've never used it before, I have no idea, no experience in how it works.
Yeah, I didn't until Ray put me onto it, so.
That's not necessarily going to sync with Outlook, which everybody on this floor wants to use. Exchange, they can sync it.
Okay,
That's part of the...
then maybe we don't, I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but in reality, it's less than $4,000 a year. We may gain that back in lost time pretty quickly, because how much time do you waste looking for stuff, right? How much time do you spend emailing from one person to another so she can send it out? You know, how much time does the code office, I mean,
I never had trouble until we had to change our password. That's when trouble started, it kept getting worse as months was going on. I don't know why we all had to change our email passwords.
Because, I'll say why, I'll be glad to say why. Because it was wide open to some individuals in this town, and they were reading email that was the select board's, okay, before the select board got to read it.
so when everybody was issued an email address, when you got your first email address, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody was issued a generic password,
One password,
that everybody got the same one.
and then nobody changed it.
And if you didn't change it, so if
We
I,
have the same we all have different passwords.
No, I know what you had, because I can see it, and I listed them out, and they were given us the same password, told to change it, and never did.
Which I didn't. I wasn't good on running.
so which is fine, but if anybody that knows your email address, whoever was with the town and knows what that dummy
My
password,
password was,
Huh?
email, to get my email.
if it's still the original one, I don't know, but
That's why I changed your password, that's fine.
yeah. So there was a reason, there was a,
I don't, like I said, I'm not,
Okay.
I don't want to stand.
no, I just think then if Microsoft's gonna work better with Outlook, I think we move forward with it. This has gone on too, it's one of these things that's just lingered, that it's a constant thorn in the side that we've, so I make a motion that we have Load and Waves move forward with an email changeover to Microsoft Exchange,
Please vote verbally. We're buffering.
okay?
Please vote, if the audio's good.
I will second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Which name?
I have a question. So if we do this, then we must put a process in place for adding and deleting email, or, because I or Alicia or anybody who is the postmaster needs to know when they can spend the $72 or not. Okay, and when somebody comes off, you want to save the $72, so we'll have to have a process.
Are you comfortable handling that through, I know you said as webmaster, you did it before, but it's not really your,
I sort of got it by default, but I've got the whole thing by default.
Yep.
We talked about transitioning it to the secretary, but.
so you're comfortable handling that through yours?
I think when it was free too, like doing emails, it's like, when you're setting them up, it's now like you want a paper one that we don't need, or new ones that are coming. You said on the-
Yeah, it's a matter of tracking them, as people leave, you get rid of them, and
Can I ask another question? I talked to Chris about it. I'm just, I don't know, like I said, when they, on Monday night, the other meeting, or if it's on a Tuesday night for the Monday night, when we come in the morning, he has to turn the server back on, it shuts down. I asked Chris about it, I said, it just seems weird, it's just on a camera night. So then, because when we got into this stuff, I thought, well, they maybe won't do it no more, because they didn't do it one night. It was, well, not that I know of, Donnie might have gone and turned it back on, so we got here, but, when they had the charter meeting the other night, when we came in the morning, we had to turn it on again.
This is not connected.
That's what
To
they
that.
said, it shouldn't affect
It is
it
not
all.
it is not connected to your
So,
server.
how long's that been going on?
what's that?
How long has that been going on? A long time?
Well,
I mean-
it wasn't, we didn't tie it to anything.
Could it be an electrical interruption? I mean, if the power went out for a second?
It could be something to do, again, with where we're all connected, because we've got different kind of connections or something, like Spectrum, and I don't know what I'm
We're on a
Verizon.
dedicated Spectrum line right now that is buffering, and we have ordered a separate consolidated line that
Right.
will have a higher speed and we won't buffer.
Does the server have a battery backup?
Yeah.
And that must,
Dee thought it was the back, she thought maybe that thing was junk or something. Like I said, we didn't put two and two together until about a couple months ago. Then I'm thinking, wait a minute, why is it always on Tuesday morning? And then one Tuesday morning at 1, I'm like, okay, so it can't be that. Well, then that's because you guys didn't meet Monday night, you had Tuesday night, so it wasn't working Wednesday morning. But it did it during the charter thing. The next morning we came in, it wasn't working. And, but I said, I'm not saying it's anything here, but Chris said he really doesn't know. It could, like you said, it could be something to do with the camera, security camera things. Like you said, it's hard to tell, but
The security
It
camera
just seems
thing
weird.
for us is with Consolidated. The iPhone, your phones are with
makes no sense.
Consolidated. Right.
I think even he's not sure, because he thought the same thing, that maybe it was the, back booster thing, but it wasn't.
Put it all on Consolidated and then you won't have people pointing.
And then I thought maybe he might have had like a thing that would off the schedule to shut off itself and then restart it. He said, no, it's not set up properly, so, I don't know. I just asked.
I guess maybe keeping track of that might not be a bad idea. If somebody on the calendar just says,
I can go look now to see if it's on or off.
yeah, it'd be interesting to know if it's,
So,
yep.
Okay, is there any more on that topic?
So you're approved, you've approved going to exchange. And you know the cost, and you know that it might go up or go down. It's gonna fluctuate, okay? So we'll work out a system. Okay.
Great. Okay, next topic is to approval for antivirus protection. We've got a notice here that our antivirus has expired. And with the addition of computers, we've had to increase the number of licenses for the town to 15. So the cost to renew is $1,098 for 3 years of protection.
Is that from Chris?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the antivirus protection through Modem Waves.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Question, does that include the fire department?
I know.
And, okay, because he's asking a lot of questions because he's seeing expenses. Does you parse those bills, does that bill get parsed out to the different departments where the computers?
We have in the past,
Okay,
but we don't do that with a lot of things.
yeah,
So,
in administration.
yeah.
Okay, well, all in favor?
Do you still want us to voice it, or is it good?
Okay.
You should voice
Yes,
it.
the three members here all voted in favor.
Thank you.
Okay, approve Boy Scout Public Beach Gate Opener, and so we need to approve Bill Buzzy again. Is there a motion?
I make a motion we approve Bill Buzzy to be the Boy Scout Island Beach Gate Opener.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's different each time.
Okay, Bricktown Hall request. Gail, did you have something on that? Or was that the,
I do.
is that, okay?
As you know, we had a water incident at the Bricktown Hall, and we had Connectivity Point installing the system, and they are due there May 7th and 8th to finish, and it will go online, and there'll be some training within those 2 days. And I'll also invite SRCTV to join us to make sure that we don't have the same kind of issue up there that we're having here. They can all get together and put their heads together. My question is, can we have the ceiling tiles and the light fixture installed before May 7th? It's been 9 months, so I'm hoping, the waterfall was July 25th. So I'm hoping we can do that so the residue from even sand coming down in any way, shape, or form. It's all electronic and it's not covered. It's in a cabinet, but it's, you know, it's sand and residue and it's all electronic. So I'm hoping that we can have ceiling tiles at least. And the light fixture is just sort of just hanging there with what, you know, with wires.
Can you see, is that something that,
So I did reach out to the person who originally put those up or ordered them, I just haven't heard back from him. Isaac's happy to do it, just trying to match the tiles, ceiling tiles. Find out if we can order them or we can order them. What did you say, the light fixture, what about it?
Yeah, well, it's just hanging from it. It's just, it's all there, it just needs to be
it just
installed.
belongs in the grid work?
Okay.
Yeah, it needs to be installed in there.
Is the grid work all still there, or is the grid work down?
No, the grid works there.
Oh, so it's just not put in tiles?
It's just tiles and.
Yeah.
and
I'm sure you can get it-
Probably, I guess.
Sure you get it right at molten lumber?
Molten lumber, you think?
Sure.
You should be able to measure one of the full ones and.
They either come 2x2 or 2x4, it's,
Yeah, they're standard size.
there's only two sizes. They're probably 2x4s, and they're pretty generic.
And sometimes you have to trim them, right, in some places.
Yeah, the edges usually.
Okay, and there's an item here to approval for SRC TV ad. Did we all get a copy of that in our?
I don't think so, we just printed that off for you.
This is to post for the open position on the SRC TV's Board of Directors. Saco River Community Media is seeking an alternate board representative from the town of Limerick. So we need to, post that to see if we can get somebody to be the alternate.
Are we looking to publish it or post it online?
Yeah, I just wanted him to read, so putting it out, like, the people that are gonna be looking.
I make a motion, we we post online and on Facebook the need for a SRC TV representative.
I'll second that.
Alternate, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an alternate.
Normally, election, but in, but,
Yep. That's fine.
yes. Usually if the one can't go, then the other one can go. That's all, not just a cover.
Okay, well, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I do have a couple of little additions to the agenda, and looking for an approval to waive the plumbing fee for the Historical Society's installation. I believe they're installing a toilet sink.
Make a motion, we waive the plumbing permit fee for the Limerick Historical Society.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and the final item I have here is Maine municipal nominations for the Legislative Policy Committee. I don't know if anyone here is interested in being on the MMA Legislation Policy Committee.
I make a motion, we appoint Brady Connors to the Legislative Policy Committee.
I second that.
I can deny that, right?
You can. You take,
I have a lot on my plate.
you gotta take a look at what it is.
Yeah, I don't even know what that entails, but if I take a look and I like it, then maybe.
It's twice a week to Augusta.
No.
Okay, well, I'll let you read this. If you change your mind, we can appoint you next week. And with that, is there anybody for the hearing of citizens? Oh, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.